up, everybody? Welcome to RPG Revolver. Who else is here tonight?
It's me, Mahogany.
And it's
All
me, a toker.
It's a toker.
It's me, Wah Mahogany. Wah!
Everybody, turn your volume down for a second.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Kevin.
And it's me, Kevin. Yay!
All right, and I'm Matt, and I'm actually DMing tonight, which is a rare treat. One that has only happened a couple times before for my kids when I've DM'd My Little Pony Equestrian Tales, which is an exciting, awesome adventure if you ever get a chance to do it.
Sounds like a blast.
We've been begging you to run My Little Pony for us for years.
I feel like I've been dropping hints about doing that for a while, and nobody ever seems to really want to get on board with it.
Okay,
Well,
so
when
what's Nerd Bowl?
When you're dropping hints, you drink a lot.
I do drop a lot of hints when I drink, and I do drink a lot, so I understand. I'm not saying those are the only hints that are being dropped. That was part of it, but tonight we're playing Black Hack. Has anybody played it before?
We've played Barbarians of the Ruined Earth, which is based on it. So, but like, we haven't actually played the original source material game.
Okay. I don't think did I play Barbarians? I don't think I ended up playing that.
I think you dropped in for one session, but we never actually did much in the way of a combat.
I think that's what it was, and I got pulled away from it. So, on that, I'm gonna stop this music for a minute because it's driving me crazy. I didn't think it would be, but it seems like music's louder in my ear than it is in y'all's. I don't know. Do y'all want to just jump right in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get started on this because it's been a lot of fun kind of setting this up and learning the system and then learning how to try to figure out how to DM it and then try to think about the pain-ass players that are going to be playing it like myself normally and how I would try to come up with some options for y'all when it goes sideways, but see how it goes.
And worst case scenario, if you suck at this, we could just read passages from this book.
That's a good book.
Oh,
That's a great book.
The Quest for the Dragonflower, written by you wrote this.
I don't know. I was 1 star last time I looked.
That was it's up now. It's up now. I think we're at 2.5 or something.
No,
That's pretty good.
Noob was nice enough to throw a 5-star review on it.
Did he leave me one too?
I purchased the book and left a very tasteful review.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the exact description of my children when they first read it. So
that's who I was thinking about when I wrote it.
Yeah.
What you need to get is like hate purchases. We need to start review bombing. Like, this is woke garbage. Buy this book and burn.
No.
Well, how does that work with children? Maybe it does work with children's books. Actually, I could just we could say it's been banned in
anything if they're hate purchasing.
It's been banned in 37 school districts.
All of them Arkansas.
I would say this. I mean, it's only allowed right now in one library in the whole Charleston County, Berkeley County area. So there's that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's because none of the rest of them would buy one, and I only donated the book to one of the libraries, which they were very thankful for.
Just leave the reasoning as a mystery next time.
That's fun. Yeah. I think that's the best part. Why?
We got to get this banned book. Oh, it's not banned. Right. He only gave us one copy.
It's only It's all right. That was definitely a labor of love, and I'm glad I finally, I did publish it, and it, I guess it sold 3 books now. So did Noob actually buy one?
I don't think Noob actually bought one. He just left a review.
He just left a review for it. So I've sold 2 books.
Yeah, the sales are up 100%.
I will say this print on demand. It came out. It looks really nice. Unfortunately, the guy folded it when he put it in my mailbox, so it's got a bit of a curve to it. But that's not their fault. But
get one of those big giant. What do you used to call those things in church? Concordance. Remember those books that are like this thick?
Oh.
That flattens any book. Yeah.
Getting a strong.
That's pretty good.
Looks pretty good.
Was the worst Christmas gift ever.
Not too bad. Okay. Sorry. So let's jump into this. So this is I'm gonna kind of give you guys just kind of quick overview of the world you're jumping into. It's one that I've created. I'm sure I've used elements from the countless hours of literature I've consumed of fantasy materials, but for the most part, this is my little world, and hopefully this will play well. But most of this story that we're talking about today is going to take place in and around a city called Kelmorn, and Kelmorn is a nice city of a few thousand, and it is on the south side of a very large mountain peak called Mount Morn. And there's also a lake nearby that's called the Harecroft Lake. And a lot of the locals know it. As far locals, I mean by the ones that live around the lake, as Delany Depths. And then there is a rock quarry that produces quite a bit of really sought after paving stones that some of the larger cities in the country import from here. At a place called the Widows Rejoice. So yeah, got a pretty high death rate there of the local workers, but I'll let you figure out why the Widows Rejoice in there, but there's that's another story. It's also there's a vast farming plain that takes up the valley, so that's kind of spread out. It's quite a big area. It's pretty widespread, and then the actual towns are kind of centered around a central tower in Kelmorn, and there's very much a very symmetrical feel to the town. There's a bridge on each side of the tower, and then the town kind of spirals out from that central tower. The tower is sealed. No one in the town's ever been in it or out of it, and it's there's only certain times that it opens. By all accounts, Kelmorn's it's a very flourishing city. It's very productive, and for most of the time, it seems to be without any problems. The crops are very bountiful. The fishing nets are always full. Children are healthy. Babies are born, happy and alive. Sun and rain seem to be in perfect harmony. But all this seems to kind of subside a little each year until it gets through a 12-year cycle. And in that 12th year, things start to get, their good fortune and good luck just kind of falls off the cliff. Pestilence hits their crops. They have people drowned in the lake. There's lots of sickness and disease that ends up starting to spread all over the place. Beasts and devils that seem to normally be reserved or stay hidden, everybody start to come out more and terrorize towns, things like that. It's just not a good time to live in Kelmorn during that 12th year, and for however long that lasts. And we'll give y'all two guesses on which year we're in for this adventure.
Year one.
So, yeah, year one, everything's great. There's gonna be no problems for the next 12 years. And so, but
I'm ready for a fishing adventure where we fish.
We're going to talk about that. There's some good rules and random tables on what type of fish you catch, how long they are, how much they weigh, and how much they struggle. So we'll be rolling some dice for that to see. It's going to be an exciting tale. So in that 12th year, something starts happening. So children are born with something the townsfolk call a god mark. And it can be it's like a rune or symbol that's born. It's usually on their chest or on their back, and it's kind of a raised, almost like a birthmark, except it has like pulsating blood veins that go through it. It's very distinct. Even though many of the town's inhabitants have never seen one, you would know it when you saw it. So in that time, when that starts happening, the tower doors are open. So in that 12th year and beyond, every time a woman gets pregnant, the tower doors open and 2 Crimson Guards march out, and a midwife. And those 2 Crimson Guards stay in the household, and the midwife stays with the pregnant lady until she gives birth. And once she gives birth, if there's no god mark, they silently return to the tower, and the family goes on about their business, and their lives are as normal as they can be. If there's a god mark, then the midwife immediately takes the child to the tower. The families are, all their debts are forgiven. They are given 2 years' wages paid, and that's compensation for their child. And most of the time, this is agreeable. If they resist in any way, the Crimson Guards slaughter the whole family, the household. The house gets burned down. It's complete annihilation. So compliance is generally what happens in most of the situations, and it has been for as long as anybody here has been alive. Now, to give you a little description of the guards are a little bit taller than humans. They're about 7 foot tall. They're all in red crimson plate, and the townspeople call them the Crimson Guard. They have full face helmets, and so they can't see their faces. When they go to, if they've been appointed to your home, they generally find a dark corner and just kind of stand there. They don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't talk. They're just there, and it is an interesting presence for that period of time. The midwives are, they look human. They look like an everyday human, although no one in the town ever recognizes who they are, or they don't look familiar to anybody. They don't talk, nor do they eat or sleep either. They attend to that lady until she gives birth, period. That's all they do. And then when they're done, there's no arguing with them. They take the baby and they go to the tower. And that happens over and over. And once it's happened 7 times, once there's 7 children have been taken to the tower, shortly thereafter, the bounty, the good fortune, the sun and the rain are in harmony again, and good fortune returns to Kelmorn until this cycle repeats itself. That cycle can take anywhere from a year to 2 years after that 12th year, so it might be the 13th or 14th year before that 7th child is finally born. So, but yes, you are in the middle of this cycle right now, and that's where we are. So I want to just go through right quick and just kind of let everybody introduce your character, talk a little bit about your creation process, whether the mechanics of it from the book or just kind of why you picked to play who you're playing. Not necessarily your level 2. That's something cool about Black Hat, because when you level up, you have to kind of tell a story. It has to be kind of an event or an experience that you've had that kind of gave you that that experience or that knowledge to be able to make you a stronger, better character. So we'll do that here in just a minute. But if y'all just want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, and we'll just start with Toker.
I was pondering on how many families would try to like have a bunch of babies during that cycle just to like stack up the 2-year payment option. Like just really go to town, have a lot of babies, and because I mean, getting paid for 2 years instead of being indebted to a child for 18 years just seems like a viable form of income.
It's an option, and the tower really doesn't care. Doesn't seem to care. I'm sure people have tried that.
This is probably the kind of conversations Gully Fishbone would have with his charters. He's a halfling. He comes from a large family. So you don't want the story yet for the level 2. You just want like what?
Not yet. Not the story yet. We'll get to that in a second.
So I won't read any of that stuff. I'll just, he's a halfling. I love halfling because it looked cool, and because the bard looked terrible. I normally like to play clerics or paladins or something when I'm going to a game the first time, and I figured I'd do something a little different. The most fun I've had playing games has been with halflings and kind of not optimized characters. So I looked at the bard first, and the only reason I go with bard is because there's nothing there. Like he gets an instrument that he can play, but I don't see where like that affected the group at all. Like they don't inspire when they play. It's just, hey, you've got a musical instrument, here's your class. And I was like, nah. So I went through the rest. And the halfling kind of stood out to me, and I was like, that's cool. I'll be the little roguish halfling type. And I kind of already had a bit of a backstory in my head when you gave us kind of the layout of the world. And I don't know what else to say without going into that. So I'll just say I went with Halfling. I'll be slinging rocks at foes, and I rolled pretty good on my stats. Not great, but pretty good. He is not an intelligent Halfling or a strong Halfling, or very charismatic. So yeah, he probably is a little off-putting to be around. But he's dexterous. He's wise for the woods. Like I'm picturing kind of more like a rogue ranger if we had to go with like more Pathfinder classes. Something along those lines.
Okay. I like it.
I did roll a D6 to see what his favorite snack was and got pork belly. So I feel like I was meant to play this class. There's a table. Roll a D6 for your favorite snack. And they all look delicious. But pork belly made me happy because I do love pork belly. And just the fact that it's an option, I think might have been the real reason I chose the Halfling.
I like it. Sounds good. All right. Mahogany.
All right. So my character's name is Valentine Diploid. Might sound familiar because her dad, Vance Diploid, is kind of a big deal in the militia. Everybody knows who he is and kind of expects Valentine to follow in his footsteps. And she probably will. She's been on track for the militia her whole life. She's not that bright. Kind of low on the wisdom, intellect, charisma part of it, but very strong, very dexterous, and sturdy. So why not go into the militia?
It's a sturdy woman.
Yeah. So I chose warrior for her because just sort of made sense with the backstory that I had come up with. She was going to be she's 19. She's kind of known around town as that important guy's kind of good for nothing daughter. Like, she doesn't really contribute to much because she feels like her path is already laid out for her. She's just kind of hanging around town, partying, and getting ready for the inevitable of what her job's gonna be. Talks a bit too much. Always kind of just there. So, yeah. Oh shit.
Oh no.
Where'd Terrence go? We lost to Terrence. But yeah, Valentine Diploid. Everybody knows her. She's always
That's
there.
good. I take it. Does she live in town?
Oh yeah, Kelmorn born and bred.
Okay, and she's in because like I say, there's like little kind of communities and things like where Gully would probably live out near the lake. It's probably about a day's journey or so out from the town, but you're in the city proper.
She's in the city proper, but like she goes, she knows everybody. She's always at the bar, she's always at the party, she's always around. She's just kind of there.
Okay, I dig it.
He lost power.
He lost power?
Yeah.
Got a storm going on.
It's the risk we take. There's a hurricane coming this way. It's a coming.
I've already warned you.
It
It's
is.
not a hurricane's coming. It's a hurricane's coming. Anyway.
Hurricane. I feel like Diploid may be good friends with one of the one of the main characters I talked about in the little intro. Oh, well, not in the intro, but to you guys. Good old Jack Stonecutter, whom we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Oh yeah. Very
Y'all would run in the same circles.
Very well acquainted. It's actually
For
a part
sure.
of my level up story.
I like it. So,
All right. So on to me, I guess. Torg is a dwarf, and the reason I chose dwarf, when I was looking through the different classes we could play, I saw under equipment, dwarves automatically start with a magnificent beard. So I said, okay, this one's talking to me. So I have a very strong and tough dwarf that doesn't do anything else really well. But what he does also do, is, like many dwarves, dig for treasure. And that'll be part of my level up story. But post that story, he came to the town to work in the rock quarry, where he's been a faithful employee with him and his brothers and cousins and nephews and family have all been working the quarry for the town for the past 5 years.
Okay, I like it.
Oh, and I also came equipped with a mule. So
You have a mule?
Yeah. So Torg and honest, because who's ever met a dishonest mule?
Honest. Okay, I like it. And does Torg, does he, there's obviously there's like little mining communities and stuff around the quarry, but does he kind of hang out there? Does he
For the most part, yes. He does go. He's the one that they tend to send into town for supplies and whatnot. So he does know the people of the settlement better than any of his family. But yes, he does mostly stay out towards the quarry.
Okay, very good. And then does what's he? Okay, well maybe we'll get into that. It's what he's kind of known for. Is that going to be in your level up story?
Well, what I'm known for is just a hardworking dwarf that always is dirty and shabby, but a magnificent beard.
Okay. All right.
Did you want us to talk about like our equipment and stuff like that? Is it really?
I mean, you don't have to. I did want to talk. If as far as like the
Nope.
Back?
Terrence coming back.
He's coming back in.
All right.
Hey.
Power back to the
Just in
compound.
time.
You never, I don't know how much that's gonna last, longer that's gonna last, but
It's all right. Why don't you go ahead, Aramis, and tell us about your character.
Alrighty. My character's name is Erasmus Thatchwell. He is the son of a farmer who was plucked out of the fields to become a wizard's apprentice. In his boyhood, he serves under Pelipar the Ponderous, one of the city's working class wizards that does odd jobs, research, a bit of enchanting for people. And that is basically what Erasmus has done with his life thus far. He has learned the arcane arts while taking on odd jobs, particularly with the tinker next door, learning that trade as well. So that way, he's a kid who grew up, always working, and he's basically stayed the same way the entire time. He's a tall, kind of athletic guy, like smart but shy around people, and kind of dreamy when he's not focusing on an actual job. He wears working class clothes and a wide brim woven straw wizard's hat. So basically a hybrid between a wizard's hat and a farmer's sun hat.
Okay. I like it. So, to change things up a little bit, just what I was going to have you guys doing to something else a little bit. So, one thing that the city does sometimes in these dark times is they have they throw festivals for things to try to kind of boost people's morale while they're basically all waiting on these children to be born, and there's try to keep as many people from being disgruntled and wanting to either protest or leave the city or go find work somewhere else or any of those things while these bad things are happening. And so the four of you who know each other in some ways are outside at a campfire outside of one of these festivals later in the evening, and just kind of sharing a campfire together and sharing some stories. So we'll just start at the top again and go with Tokers. You want to tell your tale of how you grew in prowess?
Yeah. So Gully's a halfling, as we've said already, but he's a fisherman first. He's a member of the Fishbone family. And the Fishbone family has lived next to Delany Depths for as long as they can remember. So long, in fact, they've adopted the last name Fishbone due to their very high success with the fishing trade. He's the middle son of four brothers. Gully wanted to make a name for himself outside of just fishing, so his idea was to start a fishing charter. So Happy Hooker Charters was born. Taking locals from town out to the depths to experience what his family does every day. Business wasn't great to start, but he was superb at keeping large reptiles at bay with his sling, so his charters had the safest experience. But the threat was still real, and the townsfolk still weary. On one such charter, a skiff of unruly trogs attempted to assault Gully's charter. Again, that charter's called Happy Hookers. Because it's happy people fishing with hooks. But Gully broke into action when these trogs attempted to assault the charter, slinging rocks into the trogs' heads with near deadly accuracy. The trogs never got within 50 feet of the Happy Hooker. So now his charters are on a waiting list, and Gully is happy. But does he feel content? Maybe another adventure awakes. And every time he's told this story, and I'm sure they've heard it before, it started off with one trog, which was the truth, and now it's up to 3. So every few months, more and more trogs show up in that story. He's like every fisherman. The fish gets bigger as the story goes on.
I like it. It's a great story. All right. Who wants to jump in with another tale of your amazing prowess?
I'll go ahead. All right. So, you know how my dad's a big militia guy, Vance, and my uncle, Victor, and my older brother, Vigo, and, pretty much everybody in my family's in the militia, right? So, I'm an auxiliary member of the militia, and they don't actually pay me. It's more like a volunteer kind of thing at the moment, but that's gonna change probably pretty soon. So you would never guess what happened this weekend. See, me and Jack and a few of the guys, we were all gonna go down to the depths for a party. And Jack, he always knows where the best parties are. So anyway, I was running late and I was coming around the corner. I was hauling ass out of my apartment. I was running around, coming around the corner onto the high street, and then just bang, smash, forehead to forehead with some guy in a chicken suit. And the beak just kind of stabbed me in the throat, and I freaked out, and I just reacted, I kicked him, got him right in the nuggets, and as I was falling back over, I yanked off the head of the chicken suit, and the guy doubles over, and out of the neck, there's just all these jewels falling everywhere. So, I was kind of stunned for a second, and then I heard yelling, and I see the militia coming around, and I realized this guy must be that chicken bandit, the one that's been robbing the shops. And so I was like, now's my moment. Anyway, I tackle the guy, and we're tumbling around, and so long story short, there's gonna be a story about it in the paper, and I don't know how good I'm gonna look because there was feathers everywhere, but I got this really cool necklace that I made out of it. I got chicken feathers and jewels, and it's amazing. And yeah, so probably gonna be a full-fledged member of the militia by, one day. Something like that.
Terrence was so nervous about having to follow your chicken nugget
Said,
story.
That's hard to
he
do.
left.
Got me
He's
right
gonna
in the
blame
nuggets.
it on the store.
I like it.
But
good.
yeah, so the warrior is supposed to have a trophy, and you're supposed to roll on the chart. But I petitioned that my trophy should be my chicken feather and jewel necklace.
So granted.
Wonderful.
I like it.
I feel like it kind of looks like
Yeah.
that. She's wearing. Yeah.
Dig it.
What is that
Mhm.
from? Is that
It's the girl that, like, I was looking for the girl from the Willow TV show, but I think this is her in something else. I don't think
because
this
the
is her
guy's
in
holding a
Willow.
gun. I don't think that's Willow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
don't know
almost
what
looks
it
like
is.
Mad Max, but
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe. Maybe.
kind of got that apocalyptic world.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember her in that, but that's,
don't either,
it
but-
definitely has a Fury Road kind of feel to it.
I
Yeah,
just thought
that,
it.
that
don't
guy
know.
especially.
Yeah. No, that looks cool. I like it. I like that a lot. So, what the audience at home, I meant to talk about that sooner. I messed up there. But so Jack Stonecutter is somebody that's pretty notorious throughout the town. He's a good fellow. He's super charming. Like he is so like people love him when they talk to him. He's also a schemer, which is what most of you have known him for, because he's roped one or two of you or all of you at some point into one of his schemes, and they sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But it's almost a kind of a joke around town of Jack always, what his latest scheme is, what he's doing to try to get rich. But he's a good enough guy, super good. He does accompany some of you on some different little quests, and like I say, he does rope you guys into those things sometimes. But he's not much for heading out into the woods or out to the quarry, or go down to the lake a little bit just to party. But that's about he's not fishing in no boats. He's always got something going in town, and so that's Jack. And we'll learn a little bit more about him here in a few. But I guess. Kevin, you want to go ahead and go with yours? Or Torg
Sure.
and Honest?
Yes. Gather around the fire here as Torg lights his long pipe full of tobacco and begins to spin his yarn. Back in the day, when I was but a young lad, the clan, we was many miles off from here, and we were in the vein deep. It was quite rich. Rubies. Oh, the clan was going to be mighty rich when we all... Oh, we have an incoming. But when we were deep into the ruby vein, working it hard day and night, and then one day we struck an inner chamber with full of sparkling rubies, but we were not alone there. We had stumbled across another group working the vein from the other end, but they were no dwarves nor any friendly folk. They were kobolds, a large clan of them. We were outnumbered 5-1. We had to fight them off, but we couldn't hold. We had to make our retreat, and so we ran to, what's the name of the town again?
Kelmorn.
Kelmorn.
Kelvorn.
Kelmorn.
Okay, there we go.
Mhm.
he asked in character?
I had it on
Where are we?
when I was writing up my story. But yes, so we came here, and yet we work the earth, but not with quite the same results. We no longer are deep in that ruby vein. We only now quarry the stone for the city.
Very good. Hardy folk, you guys. So, and you said that you do live, y'all live out by the quarry?
Yes.
Ah, dang it. I don't know if this is going to work.
You think?
Yeah.
He's a cursed wizard. He only gets to show up for 20 minutes every hour of the game.
Yeah, it gets pulled back into the void. So,
Who knew
dang
a
it.
hurricane would be disruptive to our game tonight?
Who knew?
Yeah, it was a long shot, but I figured we would at least give it a shot and see if we can get a little bit done.
I mean, if we could just get his
that seemed to be good here, but
His level up story.
He's saying to go on without him.
Oh.
Aw. Might need a wizard. I mean, that's
Let's be
why.
honest. Do we need a level 2 wizard?
Well,
I
I mean, we'll work around it if y'all want to jump in later. So maybe we'll work around it. But no, it's all very good. It's stories. You're all laughing and drinking, having a good time around this. And then,
Shit.
what happened?
My weather alert.
Oh God.
So I propose that we just kind of talk about the system a little bit more and like how gameplay works, and then see what we can do after that.
Yeah, we'll do this as a session 0. We'll start yours in earnest. Maybe
Okay.
Next week.
Yeah. So, from what I've read, I've probably read more about it than you guys have. Doesn't mean I've retained much of it.
The book only let us read so far, and then it says if you're a player, read no further. So
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you can. It's just a lot of the rest of it's kind of a lot of generators. It kind of talks about different adventure hooks, and it's got like, it's basically has. If you were just kind of going in with no plan, you could just pick this book up and just kind of rando the whole game session by, oh, here's the NPC, and you roll 3 times, and all of a sudden he does this, kind of different things, which is kind of neat. I think for those situations, it would be, if you need a quick way to bring somebody back into the game, it's got some tools for that. It's got some really neat features in there about you can actually build a dungeon randomly with different, it's turns to the right, turns to the left, big circular rooms, different little dungeon features and stuff in it. So I like that aspect of it. I like how it's pretty open too, especially pretty much every roll. If you get attacked, the players are rolling. If the players are attacking, the players are rolling. And so the players are always going to be engaged. And so that helps, I've never done this before, but it seems like it's supposed to help the DM kind of concentrate more on the story and narrating kind of what's happening versus trying to figure out math, right? Which, it's what we do in Mathfinder.
Yeah.
But it's I was watching, I don't want to get on a tangent here, but I was watching that I was just randomly watching one of our homebrewers, our main show videos the other day, and it was one of the recent ones where you have that big sphere that has like 9 layers that built up, and I was just like, holy shit. Sit there, work out 9 saves per turn every time somebody wants to go into that thing.
Yeah, well, the thing is that you're not supposed to run through it, but Frakes did and survived, and that's when I was like, I think Frakes is shouldn't be. His character is too powerful. I've given him stuff that shouldn't make that so easily survivable for him.
Yeah, one hit doing 6. I mean, some of his. I definitely agree with that it was a low power. But
to go back to this, it was one of those things where like you tend to like the crunch, and I do too, to a degree. And I feel like this system is a nice middle ground where it's not so much math like Pathfinder, but it's still there. There's enough like math to give it some character.
I feel like there's some substance, there's some foundation that the math brings to a game where these are kind of the parameters of. I don't like a game where it's just kind of all, oh well, that sounds like that could happen, or yeah, that probably works, or it's just I like to have something in place of of that. But I do think Pathfinder sometimes it's too much sometimes.
Yeah, and we're at the point and in that game where it's an obscene amount of math. It is. It's a lot, and the only way to make it a challenge for y'all is to bring in enemies that also require a lot of math, a lot of now there's incorporeal and swarms, and they take half damage from this and full damage from that, and it's a lot to break down, and it slows things to a point where
slow down things a little bit, especially with the size group we have over there on that one. But I do like one of the things that when I read through the system. I like that it does have that framework in place, but it's also very open. There's a lot of room for just kind of free telling the story and not so much of, oh, this is kind of what I want to happen in this scene or this scenario, but I don't, the rules won't let that happen. Or, sometimes we run into Pathfinder, it's like, I really want my character to do this, but the rules won't really let you do that sometimes. And I feel like this is a good system for just kind of, freelancing in a little bit.
I think that for the theater of the mind stuff, the close, nearby, far away, distant, or whatever it was, I think that's a really cool mechanic. And then the minutes and moments, how you can use those, and hours even, how you can use those in a turn-based thing without, because sometimes in Pathfinder it'll be oh, we're still in rounds or whatever, okay, but there's nothing happening. You're okay, well, I don't understand the scope of what I should be trying to do in this time period, whereas this is okay, this is you have 5 minutes, what are you doing?
Yeah, one of the ways they describe that in the book is it's what's your character doing for the next few minutes, or what are you doing the next? I like how it kind of invokes a different type of thinking into it. You're not really thinking in those rounds standpoint too. So another thing I like about this, we haven't got to try it yet, which we will soon, is the way they do initiative. You roll a dex. You basically roll your a dex test, and if you make it, then you go before the monster. If you don't make it, you go after the monster. That's it. And then if everybody makes it, then you have to, all the players together have to decide kind of who does what first and kind of work that out quickly. Which that could run into some problems with 7 people in the group, but if 3 or 4, I think is
and we played
that's definitely manageable.
Our buddy Ryan's in the process of making his own tabletop game, but his focus is a lot more on the map. And he started it where the same kind of thing where you either go before or after the monsters, and then y'all get to decide what to do. But for a tactical thing, it was a conversation that went back and forth. It's when everybody's initiative, you can form tactics off knowing who's going to go before or after you. But not knowing who's going, you get to decide as a team who goes first, second, so then you can kind of plan your.
Yeah, it's a little more realistic. It's all right, I'm gonna go left, you go right, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think I like it better from storytelling. It's when you watch movies and stuff, it's the teams are the superhero teams, the fantasy teams or whatever. They're you got to hit them with this thing first. You got to do this thing first. And then sometimes when you do straight initiative, it's well, the guy that's supposed to buff everybody
dead last.
Is dead last. So what do we've got a round of just fuck it before we really jump into the thing we want to do.
Yeah, and I think that, and technically, even with Pathfinder, when you have those initiative and everybody, look, this person goes last, this person goes first. All that's supposed to be happening simultaneously. It all happens in that same, in that same 6 seconds. Everything is kind of happening together. But we do kind of lean towards that of, oh well, you can't tell them that because it's not your turn, or you can't yell that out because it's not your turn, or you can't, So I do like that too. I didn't know Ryan. I haven't had a chance to play Ryan's game, but I like that direction.
His was very map oriented, tactical. We played.
Is he doing Hex?
He did eventually go to Hex, and it's been a few months since we played it. I've been meaning to reach out to him and see where it's at now, because I had a lot of fun with it. And I told him, I was when you get done, I would love to let us play it. Or come play it with us. We'll play your game.
Yeah. He could DM a session for us or something.
He's got kids. They go to school. They pick up diseases. They bring them home. He's always, there's something going on in that house. It's too much.
Yeah, I have those. I just don't interact with them a lot, so that helps. That helps me.
Keep them safe, buffer.
Yeah, they don't bother me. Just.
Here's a dog. Go outside with the dog.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up another dog from the pet center. Play with the dog, clean the dog, pet the dog. It's all good. So, but I do like Black Hack. I'm excited. I'm kind of bummed we didn't get into this as much as we wanted to tonight. But we, like I say, we are having in the middle of a hurricane, so we've tried this before to no avail.
Well, just because I did it. Every warrior starts with a decorative shield displaying their heraldic device, which the player should design. And I did. So I'm going to describe it to you. Because I just
Okay.
described it. I
Yeah.
just designed it in my head. So it's a very large tree, kind of like maybe like an oak, with many, many branches at the top. And in the bottom, it's a field of green that the tree is coming out of. So like there's a field of green, and then there's two lions, and they're kind of like rawr, facing each other.
Okay.
And then in front of the lions is crossed swords. And that's my heraldic device is what it is.
I like it. That's cool. And so shields work. So your armor works. Basically, you have like a usage die in this game. And so if you get hit and you're going to take damage, you can choose to use one of your usage die. And then what you do with that die is gone, right? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like a shield or a helmet actually just adds an extra chance to that. So you don't actually your armor actually is not. So if you start with armor 2, you don't actually have armor 3 with a shield, but you have an extra chance, extra hit die or usage
armor
die.
die. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's some cool little. I don't know. I felt like that was a little overcomplicated, but it's
Yeah, I read it a couple times, and then it made more sense because don't look at it like a die until you have to see if it's broken or not.
right.
Like I've got chainmail, so I've got 3 chances where I get hit. I can just go, the armor took it.
Yep.
And then every time I do it, I have to add it out. I had to take a D6 and put it in a pool. And then I have to roll to see if I'm able to fix it when we rest. It's kind of what it breaks down to.
Yeah. And if you run out of those, your armor's broken, right? You can't fix it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. But yeah, that's kind of a cool little feature in this. I don't know how much it'll come into it, but overall, it's pretty good. What does your donkey do? I mean, your mule do there, Kevin? What's it good for?
Being a mule, hauling
shit.
stone to the town.
Or treasure?
He gets an
Treasure.
honest pay for an honest day's work.
And where did you say you were mining and where you ran into the kobolds?
I didn't. It was beyond the foothills.
All right, so maybe up in the mountain, maybe up more in the Mount Morn.
Definitely in the mountain.
All right.
Basically, like at the foot of a chain of mountains.
I too, upon second look, have a pet.
You've got a pet?
Yeah, I overlooked it the first time. I went with equipment B, which comes with a chain shirt, a short sword, a sling, 2d6 coins, which netted me, I think, 8 coins, 7 gold, 7 coins, and a pet mouse that I named Tiki.
Cute.
Pet mouse named Tiki. All right.
Gully and Tiki.
Did Terrence didn't get to tell us if he had a familiar or not, did he?
He didn't get to tell us anything because of the hurricane.
Yeah, I mean,
He told us a little bit about his character, but not not his experience.
Yeah, we don't know what got him to level 2.
Yeah, need to know that.
And if anybody cares, I took A for my equipment. Scale tunic. I chose a sword as my one-handed item, and then the large shield. 9 coins and unopened orders. So apparently I got what I was expecting. Officially a part of the militia. Yay.
Y'all are free to you're definitely free to go back if you want to look past. I'm not going to be using many of these tables except for a couple things, just because I kind of have a adventure that's kind of fully fleshed out. But I do have a couple things I'm going to use it on. But y'all are free to look over that stuff.
What, help you with your job? Fuck that. You better tell me.
No. I'm just for your own curiosity. I think
I'm
they
not
didn't
curious.
want.
Oh, does anybody else have a shield?
Nope.
I don't think so. Do dwarves have
No,
shields? He's got a mule instead of a shield.
I got chainmail, a full helm, an axe, a great axe, and 3d8 coin, and a mule.
And a mule.
So I get one of the like outside of, again, I think it's called like damage dealer or something like that, where I get to split my damage dice between, like, say if there's multiple people to attack, I can use a damage die for one person and then a damage die for another person, as opposed to using them all on one person. But I also get shield bash, which is if I roll between a 1 and 5 to defend, the attacker takes my level and damage. So that's pretty
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
And at level 2, 2 hit points is still pretty good.
I only have 14.
That's pretty good damage.
Total. So yeah.
So I think even like level 2, like monsters stuff like that, only have like 6 hit points. A lot of them. Some of them might have more than that. Some of them might have been modified.
Oh, that look. Mischievous.
Anything else to lay out for session 0 that we can make Terrence watch before we get together and actually play this game next time?
I mean, we all know he's not going to watch it, but
Yeah, he sucks.
no. Do you have any questions about the world or anything? I know I kind of did like a little brief, kind of where we are now, what the world, where we live, and
So I mean, this area that you described to us, this is not the whole world. This is just our little.
This is
portion.
one city. Yeah.
One city. Okay.
There are others.
Areas,
Mm-hmm.
immediately surrounding areas. Yeah. So I would imagine that Vance Diploid is like a high up guy, so high up in the militia that he's not in town. He's elsewhere. And
He may be in a territory type commander position or something.
He's like a regional manager.
Oh, I like
I don't know whatever the militia equivalent of regional manager is, but that's what he is. So yeah, he's off at the corporate headquarters doing whatever. And
I like it.
She's not too proud to name drop if need be.
Certain situations arise, you might have to do that.
Sometimes, like, do you know who my father is?
You've been talking to. Have you seen this chicken necklace?
Yeah. Like the last name's Diploid. Does that ring any bells to you? I don't know.
Get her out of that cell right now.
Just say it. Don't make me send a letter via, I don't know what delivery systems we have in this world, but to the capital.
I don't know. I really thought about that, like pigeons and stuff. I really thought. I mean, haven't really fleshed out like this form of government other than the person in the tower that no one has ever really seen. That's kind of where a lot of the edicts and stuff come down. But there's definitely a local constabulary that kind of enforces basic laws and things like that. But as far as trade, taxation, there's a merchants guild that kind of handles the taxation of trade and goods and things like that. But the tower itself is self-sufficient and neither collects taxes nor does it seem to enforce any laws outside of the children being taken. So I guess as long as business is good, everything's good.
I'd like to know the name of all the shops in town and the owners. I feel like I would know of their names and maybe their significant others and any children they have, and particularly any pets. Just a few cats, local cat names. Just because I have a pet mouse, I want to make sure that I don't shop at places where there's like a feisty cat.
So a feisty cat, yeah. Which
most shops. Read me the notes you have there for everybody's time in town.
I'm gonna give you guys a second to get a pencil or pen or something to write with. We're gonna start with
just
Thaddeus,
send me the links.
Thaddeus Thrumbone. I think writing them down will help your retention.
No,
Thaddeus
see,
Thrumbone is the
this is the future, so I
Is
just
Thaddeus with how many D's?
There's two. They're both capitalizing Miller's name because fuck you.
That's Thaddeus.
Thaddeus, yes, Thaddeus Thrumbone.
I'm Thaddeus. I'm Thaddeus. I'm Thaddeus.
This is exactly, and that is he's the proprietor of one of the local restaurants named the Dynasty Grill, and super awesome place.
Let's go to the Nasty Grill.
It's the Dynasty Grill. It's great. They've got one of the biggest tomcats in the world. Biggest tomcats in the world called Flip that hangs out in the kitchen and keeps little mice out. So Gully's probably never been in there.
Oh,
it's great. So
there's no DHEC in this world, is there? No DHEC. No letter grades outside the Dynasty.
There's no need for it. There's, like I say, 10 to 11 years, there's no diseases. So there's really no sickness, none of that. So some of y'all have been here 5 years, so or less than that, you may have not realized the cycle, which I don't want to get into that too much either, because that'll be part of the next session when we get to that.
Well, my family's been here for a long time.
Yeah, your family has. Y'all are down with the cycle.
Yeah, there were a few inside jokes about Gully. Namely, the Happy Hooker was a joke from our game table many years ago, where Terrence let us name a vessel, and we named it the Happy Hooker, and he was forever upset that we took his serious campaign and threw in a prostitute
The
joke.
Happy Hooker.
I wonder if he got it. Maybe he got mad and left tonight.
Yeah, the other one is Gully is a bard that I played years ago, and his name I couldn't remember. Was Gully Hairbone or Hairborn?
I think it was born. Whatever.
Well, that's just it. It's been a few things, but I can't remember what it was the first time. So that's why I said the Fishbone family's been here so long, they've adopted this new last name, like they forgot their old one, because that last name has changed like 4 times.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Gully, I took that from Dragonlance. There were the Gully dwarves that were like
Gully
the evil
was.
dwarves.
I thought the Gully dwarves were they were like the little nasty shitty dwarves in that.
Yeah, they were the evil dwarves from that book that I read a long time
That's
ago.
one I really wish somebody would redo with some better narration, because it is unlistenable on Audible to listen to that.
Well, if we're gonna review books real quick, that Dungeon Crawler Carl I really enjoyed, but I picked up another one of his books, and it was Kaiju. It was a Kaiju battle healer or something, and it's a similar kind of story about a guy trapped in a video game world, but it's a little bit more dark and gruesome, and just it's really kind of, some of it's just really fucked up. The story's kind of intriguing, but I read it because the guy who does the audio book for it is awful. Just awful. He doesn't do any kind of inflections, and it's like this. It sounds like it was recorded in the early 90s.
That makes it rough.
Yeah.
This is just randomly remembered where my character name came from. So originally, last night I had decided on Valentine Fangbottom, and then this afternoon I'm scrolling through my emails, and every Wednesday I check the Harris Teeter email to see if I won the $100. And I didn't, but the winner today was Vance Diploid. It was actually Dippold, but I misread it as Diploid, and it made me giggle. And so that's where I decided I was going to be Vance Dippold, but then I was like, oh, that could be my dad, and I'll be Valentine Dippold. And there you have it.
I like it.
Kevin, where did the name Torg come from? Did you just sneeze and pick 4 letters and throw them together?
Yeah.
No, I was just going through a random dwarf name generator.
Oh, yeah. Your character's going to die because there's no connection.
Oh.
Actually, your your character's gonna live forever because it will hurt me in mahogany more that we spent so
Yep.
much on a name. The first thing that shows up is gonna
You've
crit
spent
me.
so much on a name that you've ran with for 15 years.
Well,
and had at
Kevin.
least 3 characters named Gully.
History has character, okay?
Yeah.
I keep bringing the shit back.
I was like, I didn't. I
One of
spent
them will
very
make a
little
good
time
story.
on my-
The name of this town is actually Nim from our other campaign. That's his last name.
Oh, that's
I knew it
right.
sounded
that
familiar.
too. And
I
then
thought his last name was Calmorn.
it's Cal. Yeah, Calmorn. Same thing.
I thought it was
Kel.
I thought I always thought it was CAL. I thought
Hmm.
I have like Zoom recordings of you spelling it CAL.
I probably misspelled it.
He was drunk.
Those were the drunk days.
That's what I'm just
The
like.
dark drunk days.
But and then Kelmore also was the last name of my other really great wizard that I played in Pathfinder, which was Farron, years and years and years ago. That actually became the Black Prince. So it's kind of it's been a generational name that's kind of transcended the years for me, that I like, and it may or may not play a part in this story.
Mhm.
We'll
I
see.
look forward to us being able to play this story, but we are out of time.
Oh man, yeah.
Well,
Thanks everybody for hanging out. Wish we had gotten a little further into it. I really was excited about
I
it.
hope you enjoyed this skippable session 0.
Don't skip it.
not
Yeah.
skippable.
Well, if they hear me say it now, they didn't skip it.
Yeah,
They didn't. Thanks for staying this long.
Yeah, they only decided to skip when
Absolutely.
they get to the point where we tell them it's skippable. And that's the end of the episode.
Okay, bye.
Bye.